Oh, it was a long wait for me to put that down, wasn't it? I got a cold. Woke up this morning just like, living in a tent. Does that to you, doesn't it? Especially day 12. I've been in the tent for 12 days. Hey, that's occupying. Two thoughts. You know, one, New Zealand is very apathetic to the whole Occupy movement. I think half the reason being is that there's, we just don't know about it half the time. It's not promoted. Again, I go home every so often and I watch a couple of videos of what's happening overseas. And it is just getting bigger and bigger, and it's so good to see that. And also I'm now starting to see a little bit more of, and I wish I could watch more New Zealand related videos, and there's more and more of those coming out, and particularly within the Zeitgeist movement. That's really sweet seeing that. So it just shows an underlining message. And this could be just me, but I believe that is the people just don't know within the Occupy movement that the reason why they're angry or whatever, they're just frustrated with the system. They just blame it on capitalism and all that kind of stuff, but it's the underlying root reasonings. I'm losing you. So it's the underlying root reasonings, and that being the root cause is money itself. So a resource-based economy is the way to go, and that's what I see as the thing coming out of this eventually. It might not, it won't happen overnight, of course. There is going to be a transition to move into something like that in time, and that's beautiful. But it's that whole transition based on the other crap that's going to go down that's also scary at the same time. And that leads me on to the other thing, the scary factor. And we are seeing it, yet not probably acknowledging it. And that acknowledgement is the fact that at the moment, the Maui pipeline that provides gas, most of the upper North Island is missing gas completely. And this has been going on for a couple of days now. And I just watched the news before I'm heading back to Occupy. And Fonterra, a lot of farmers are losing, they say $35,000 a day. A lot of factories are not operating because of gas, a lot of restaurants, so forth, blah blah blah. Throw into the mix now the fact that peak oil's already passed. The price of any gas, oil stuff is going to go up at some stage. It's going to just hit a point. It's going to be a tipping point where it's going to skyrocket up, and it's going to be harder for things to actually operate or actually get the oil and all that kind of stuff. What we're seeing right now, because we're so reliant on oil and gas, what's happening in the top of the North Island is exactly what we're going to see in the future, and most likely in the next couple of years. With regards to inflation, it's going to burn us all when the economic collapse happens. Oil and gas is going to skyrocket, and because it's going to be harder to get, and two, it's just going to be more expensive. Businesses are going to go under because of that, and then they're not going to come back because there won't be enough oil and gas. They won't come back. People say, I really am getting frustrated with people say, oh no, it'll be alright, we'll go through something like this and then it'll be okay. No, it's not going to be okay. There is no turning back to the system that we have now. The reliance on oil and petrol and fuel and all that kind of stuff. We can't, it's over. And it will just be the tipping point. Read the book, Tipping Point. It's a beautiful book about how to make something. And when that hits, I have no idea how it's going to hit, but when that hits, the world we know is not going to be anything like this now. And because of that, billions actually, it will be a couple of billion people will suffer. And then again, the government was talking, no, not the government, but the Labour Party was talking about raising if they come in, they're going to raise pension to 67 here in New Zealand. No one wants to work until then. And then they said that a Maori person come on and said Maori usually only average up to the age of 70, so they only got 3 years after that. The world's a mess. It's all because of money. Money and greed, and that's why Occupy is happening. So I suggest you to get on board. You are the 99%. See you.